libertarianism is consent culture. I wonder if you could elaborate on that idea a little bit.
Sure. So I teach psychology at Clemson, and I read a great book by a social psychologist named Jean Twenge. And the name of the book was called iGen. And by the way, I recommend it to anybody who wants to understand the current young generation. So she pointed out, and the reason she calls them the iGen generation, and we haven't settled on a name yet. People keep saying Gen Z until we come up with a real name, just like we had Gen Y before we called them millennials. But she points out that this is about the most libertarian group coming up through the ranks, that they look at gay marriage and they say, well, of course, why shouldn't you be able to marry who you want? And then they look at guns and say, well, yeah, why shouldn't you own a gun if you want to own a gun? Mm-hmm. So they've been, and she points out that they were raised on computers. So the first generation who has had computers, cell phones the entire time that they've known, since they were pretty much alive. And when you go on a website, you get to opt in. Now, those of us who are older, we never had that. There were mailing lists and people calling on the cell phone or the old landline phone. And so the newer generation, they got used to, nope, don't want that. Nope, don't want that. Don't want that. And they would just go after what they do want. And in fact, even look at their news. I was raised on news from the TV, and you watch it for half an hour. Maybe you don't like this story, but guess what? You have to sit there and listen to it for a couple minutes, because then you got to wait for the next story. But the current iGen generation, they just go to the news website. Nope, I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. It's like their entire lives have been a menu. And the Libertarian Party is great for that, because that is our message, that you only opt in to what you want to opt in for. And we use this mostly with Social Security. And I've been saying from the start, if I'm elected president, the first day in office, what I want to do is opt out of Social Security, or have the opt out. So you can immediately opt out of Social Security so that you're no longer paying money into the Ponzi scheme, so that older people can get a secure retirement through another way. And they don't have to be so fearful about being under the whims of Congress. And so this is a message that is just perfect for that generation, because they look around and they're just used to basically ordering from a menu and choosing what they want to choose.
That's awesome. And I appreciate how clearly you put that.
Yep, exactly.
I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I better be able to explain things. And I think that will help on the campaign trail.